Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So today on Monday we're going bold and going home. We're going to be doing ink and wash, using some hydrus watercolor from Dr. P.H. Martin's to create this really fun, cute little landscape with this bright chartreusey house. I give you a reference photo. If you're a Patreon member, you get the traceable that goes with this. If you're a Patreon member, I'm sure you can figure out how to draw this. I go over all the techniques. I just wanted to show you how we can just pick something and make it bold and different. The photograph looks kind of similar to this, but not really, because the whole landscape area is more fun and expressive. And you can do this with any kind of photograph that you've taken or where you are. Change it out, make it more expressive. This is how you become stylized and have your own style. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to hit that bell notification button to know my tutorials up. Some people are saying they're not seeing them, so you hit the bell notification button so you see the tutorials. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We have a lot of fun over here. We're talking about bold watercolor. We're going to be doing some wet on wet, ink and wash, everything in the kitchen sink, basically. Also, check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables. Like I said, I have traceable for this. Exclusive tutorials on Thursdays, a live stream in the top tier for the top patrons. We also have a Facebook group where we do weekly challenges, monthly giveaways. Patrons also get first dibs on watercolor workshops and retreats, which is a nice little bonus. And you can check it out in the description box. There's a link there below. So without further ado, let's get bold. Let's go have fun. Let's play with color. Let's play with all kinds of things today. And that's what it's all about, having fun. We don't want to be so serious. We want to have some fun and learn something along the way. So let's get started. All right, so let me go over some things. I'll be using Arch 100% cotton cold pressed paper. This is 9x12. My Sharpie pen for my ink. And brushes, I'll go over them as I use them. You have a reference photo here. I found of like a really bright chartreusey color house. I think this is in Ireland or somewhere overseas. I don't know where. And if you're a Patreon member, I give you the traceable that I kind of used right here. But you don't need to be a Patreon member. You can just take this house, print it out. You can trace the house. And then just kind of draw in, like, I just kind of drew in kind of like fast, like mountains and some energy. There is no, like, it's just one field here, but you can kind of pretend it's on a hill or whatever you want to do. As you can see, I have the Sharpie pen, and there's like little rocks. You can make the rocks a little bit bigger. So I just trace it down, and I'm going to go over my trace with my Sharpie pen, like you see here. All this fun stuff. And I like a Sharpie because it's permanent. Makes really nice little lines. Perfect control to use when doing something like this, like ink and wash. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just draw like a nice sketchy looking house. See, mine's just kind of loosely sketched in here. Pretty fast. And then I just did this background here really quick. This little area here where the rocks are. So I'm just going to do these little simple little rocks. Kind of throw those in real quick. See how fast I'm just drawing in the little rock wall. Put some lines over. Then it, like, again, I just had some energy of like, I didn't draw everything perfectly to a T. So maybe I have some lines coming this way. Draw the field. Here's the side of the house. Kind of goes out here. If you want to put the telephone lines in, go ahead. Make it how you'd like to make it. Here's little mountains up here. And I'm not going all the way across the paper. I'm just kind of like filling in this area here. And that's it. Now you can make bigger or bolder marks. You can make some little lines. See, I'm doing some grass lines here. I'm not going to follow the photograph to a T. You're just editing the photograph, right? You can put every little detail in there if you want, but I'm not doing that. We're just really concentrating on having some bold color, some fun bold color with some little lines here for the ink and wash. You need to learn to play with watercolor. You can be serious and paint a serious painting, but I like to play. And we're going to be using the hydrus watercolors from P.H. Martin's. So once you've drawn in your kind of fun little, here I'm going to put some more lines just going out this way. Energy. There's some like weeds kind of, or grass kind of happening here. I'm just kind of wiggling that. There's a rock wall kind of happening here. I'm just going to put some in here. Do some intuitive drawing. See, I'm just kind of putting it like that. Boom. Once that's done, a good tip is wait a few seconds, a few minutes before you decide to erase your pencil lines with the permanent ink. It can kind of, you know, not splat, I'm sorry. My brain cells on a Monday. It can kind of bleed a little bit, so you're going to give it a few minutes just to soak it in, and then you can erase it, you know, because otherwise you will have a little bit of a bleed, and you don't want that. Even though it's permanent, it still can do that. So just take your time. I'm using the gum eraser here. I'm sorry, I needed eraser. I just have no brain cells today. Just blame it on menopause brain. Anyway, use the needed eraser and just erase it, or whatever eraser you have. And then you can go back and play with watercolor. Yes. Okay, once it's drawn in, I'm going to play with some color. I'm going to make that, you know, it is a chartreuse colored house. We can keep the house the same color. You can change it if you want. My yellow is kind of dirty with blue in it, so it has that chartreuse color already. You can make it by adding like a little peacock or just a little teeny bit of Prussian blue. So I just tapped the Prussian blue. It's like a nice green, and then you add more yellow and you'll have that chartreuse green. That intense green color. Consistency right now for me, it's kind of like in the milk side. I can water it down, but I'm going to get really bold with color, so I'm just going to put it right in there. See? I'm using, by the way, I'm using number 8 round, and if it's too watery, just tap it back on a paper towel. Don't fuss with it too much. Just fill in that bold color. Right? We're going to leave a little bit here, and we're going to do our shadow in a bit, but we're going to fill this house in. Boom. And that nice, beautiful chartreuse color. There's some of that kind of happening out here. If you want to take that same paint and play with it by just taking it, holding the brush on its side, kind of put something out here. But now I want to play around with some of those hydrus watercolors. I'm moving my palette and replacing it with this enamel tin. Look at that, beautiful hydrus. This is, what is this color? Gamboge. I don't know. It's this Gamboge. It's a weird color, like a yellow orange. Look at that intensity. The vermillion is really cool. I have a bunch of colors here. We didn't do the sky. We could do the sky and the turquoise blue. Woo! With some intensity. I can mix it with some ultramarine blue. I have cobalt here. Let me play with cobalt. I don't know. I'm just going to play with all these colors and see what happens. This is what it's all about, guys. Having fun. So, how bold can you get? What kind of brush can you use? I'm kind of thinking a flat wash brush for this. Get some really big area, surface area. Play around with it. So, I'm going to use my 3/4 inch Princeton Velvet Touch series flat wash brush. Get a little wet. And I'm going for it with color. And this might be a little too yellow-orange, but we're going to play with it anyway. I lift up my pad here. Ooh, yeah. That's pretty intense. I'm going to water it down a little bit. But that's the whole point, right? We're going to have fun with color today. Intensity. Just get that bright yellow in there. I'm going to water it down, kind of coming down this way. I'll clean up my brush. I'll just add some water. Oh, it's still stuck on there. See how intense that color is? And I'm just going to loosen it down here. Love the intensity of this. You might not like it, but I do. You see all this kind of orangey hues in here. Kind of throw some of this vermilion in. Kind of bleed that. I'm going to go back and add that yellow too. Ooh. Now we have that turquoise color. if we add it to the yellow, we've got this nice green. We can play around with that green. We're gonna look how it's because we've moved it up like this, played around with it. So that turquoise color too, we can water this down. These are really intense colors. The ocean. Maybe grab a little cobalt. You can see these over here, the cobalt. That's also pretty intense. I've watered it down so it's less, but look at, right, a little bit out here. And this is taking us 0 time to do this fun stuff. But look how cool. I would probably use, with my ultramarine blue, here it is. Kind of like the sky in the background. And you can add some gray, Paynes gray. But the hydrus is fun. So I've watered down the ultramarine blue, as you can see here. I'll leave the mountains in a second. You just go over this. We're going to have dark color for that roof, so I'll just use my flat wash brush here, going over those lines, playing. Again, don't freak out. Have some fun. Now I'm going to add some more water. You can hear me dipping it. Kind of pushing the paint out. Clean up my brush, tap it on the paper towel, and diffuse some of the water out here. Now I can go grab some more of this ultramarine blue. Where are you? Here we go. It's already making the sky for me. It's doing the work. Woo! Look what happened. I love it. Sometimes you just never know. I'm gonna put some of this sweeping kind of motion. Get this intense sky in here. See what happens. Kind of loving it. It's got little spider things happening up here. You can manipulate it a little bit, just moving your brush around. I'm going to remove some of this down here. Diffuse it by lifting. I have techniques about lifting on my YouTube channel. Just look at my recent video with lifting the flowers. So you're cleaning off your brush, you're lifting it, and you're tapping back on the paper towel. Just lifting a little bit so that it's not such a blue. I want a little bit of variety with the sky here. Now I've gotten it some in my little house here. I'm going to remove that. And I think that's good for the sky. Really kind of cool. See, we're still playing with these hydrus watercolors. I've mixed in by accident some of the greens. Now we've got some intense greens here. I can kind of just use a chisel edge in my brush. Kind of just tapping it. See? That's still wet. Gonna tap some color here. Yeah. Then I got like a olive green by mixing that color with my yellow. We're having fun, guys. How about some gray? I could use Paynes gray. Well, let's see if we can make it. So we got that vermillion. Let's grab that blue, ultramarine blue. Now you've got purple. A little of that yellow. Get brown. See how you mix your colors. A little blue. You get grayish, purple. Let's water that down. Yeah. If I add more blue to that, now you get gray. That's how it works. So now I can just kind of put some of that gray in where those lovely stones are. Kind of play with it out here. Still using this flat wash brush. And I'm going to put some gray out this way. Now my yellow intensity kind of stayed here but diffused here. We're going to have to kind of fix that. It is more like a brown than a gray, but we could play around with adding a little blue to it. See? And now it's a little more grayish blue. It will dry later, so don't fret. I lost my intensity yellow. It's turned all this green to brown. Too many cooks in the kitchen over here. I'm gonna go chisel some color in here. It's like orangey color. Making some bold choices, playing with color here. Grab some of that vermilion again. And I'm gonna go back and grab some more of that yellow. I'm gonna lift up some of this mess that I have in my plate here. Get back to my beautiful yellow color that I love. It got stolen. Okay. Oh, my brush wasn't clean. Okay, now I can go back in and add that bright yellow. That's all it's about today, having some bright tones. Now there is the ocean back here from the rocks, and then there's a mountain. So I'm going to go back in with my turquoise, my cobalt. Just kind of using the chisel edge here. Add some ultramarine blue. To that turquoisey color. It's just looks fake. It doesn't belong there. Again, using the chisel edge. And then we have the mountains in the background. Now they are kind of like purplish blue, more ultramarine blue. So we have ultramarine blue. We would need a nice pretty pink or something to make it purple. And I think, do I have? Yes, I do. I have some magenta. Just add a tap of that color. And we've got the purple, blue. So the mountains here, I'm just going to take my brush and do like this kind of pushing and twisting. Water it down a little bit. I love the flat wash brushes. They're so much fun. Just filling in this whole area flat. Remember, we're working with bold color today. I added a little ultramarine blue to this. A little more purple in here. We still haven't finished our little house with some shadows, but I'm liking the energy of it all. Another thing to do is, if you want to splatter while it's still damp in here, you might want to cover this part. So grab a piece of paper here. It's kind of fun to splatter a little bit. Cover this. Just take any kind of like small brush, like even the Princeton 8 long round. Water some of those lovely colors down. I'm going to splatter some of the red, and then splatter some green. Gives it more energy, kind of fun. Remember, we're covering the house part. We don't want that. Gives it kind of a texture too at the same time. And I'm going to do a little more here. See? Then we don't hit our house. We have the energy kind of happening all in here. Isn't that great? Now back here, I do have the ocean. I'm going to water down some ultramarine blue. I painted this part as the ocean, but I can just go over it with some green color and fill that in. I'm going to leave my stones kind of white happening in here. And so for the chartreuse color, I'm going to go back to my lovely palette that I had before to do the house. And I'll use my Princeton 8 long round. So it's just a little bit deeper green. I'm going to grab that Prussian blue, as you can see. Or you can just use a little bit of blue itself. So like maybe ultramarine blue. We can water this down. Let's see how the shadow would look. You could play around with that. because there's white area here, so we may do the blue. And you're just going to do that little line, you see? And fill it in. Nice blue shadow. I kind of like play around with blues. And then of course out here, coming down on this side. There's our shadow of the house. And under the eave, the roof. A little bit underneath here. And there's a little shadow kind of on the doorway this way. You can see that up close. See how I just added ultramarine blue to create that shadow. Making mine a little bit darker right now, still. That's all I did was add the blue. For the roof, it's just like Paynes gray. You can go bold, just go right in there with the Paynes gray. Why not? There's no shadow, it's just one bold color. Filling that in. And same thing with the chimney. You want like an intensity of looking this cute little house. And you can use that for, obviously there's a brown type of roof here. I would use burnt sienna. Maybe in paint. You can use burnt umber and add a little reddish color to it. Just filling that in. The window here, the little teeny window, is like a little blue. I don't know if it's reflecting or what. You can keep it that way. You can add ultramarine blue. I don't know why is there blue there, but just throw that blue in there. I love it because it actually matches nicely with the chartreuse green. And I'm just going to fill in some detail here and on the side. You can use Paynes gray and kind of pump it up a little bit. Get this window a little bit darker. And this one. That's pretty much it, right? That nice bold shadow of the house. And then just add little details if you want with the Paynes gray. I'm gonna go down here, kind of like hold it on the side, put little ditzy details. Little brown out here, dry brushing it. Play around with all of it, but I just wanted to paint something that was bold and fun. Now my little roof siding here, I got a little blue on it. Not loving it. I could try and like lift it, but it's probably not going to happen. Maybe I'd cheat with adding a little gouache to just cover that, so it's nice and bold again. And this is what these are things you can play with. Bold color, splattering, all that good stuff. You can fill in the rest of the ocean if you want. I mean, I'm gonna grab some ultramarine blue. Just gonna hold the paint on its side, get that in there. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to create a fun little house. Ink and wash with some bold color, some splattering. Hydrus are fun to play with. Go back in with some nice yellow watercolor. It's just thick like butter, and go right on top of some of this. You want to add some grasses. Use your brush and just make the little swipes. Don't be afraid of color. A lot of people are just afraid of doing things colorful. I say have fun with it. This is a really quick ink and wash, kind of fun. I'm gonna go back in here and just do some like rough shadows happening on this little road that I made up that's not in the picture. Why not? I can do whatever I want. It's my picture. Yes, it is. Isn't that cute? Cute little house on a hill. Like I said, play around with the grasses. See? Adding in the greens. A little energy. Really kind of simple and sweet. don't make yourself go crazy when you're painting with watercolor. Sometimes just paint something really simple with an ink and wash, but play with the bold color. That was my experiment today. Bold color. Can't always paint super realistic. So you can go back in with actual watercolor as opposed to the hydrus and get bold as well. If you don't have hydrus, you can get bold with the watercolor. See, I'm going in with bright yellow, almost right out of the tube. Watercolor, just kind of filling in some spots here. Dry brushing. It's a lot of fun. You gotta play. Play is the name of the game when doing watercolor, experimenting with the wet on wet techniques, right? The thickness of the paint, thinning the paint down, and all the other stuff. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Try using ink and wash. You know, it's great. You can draw, you know, if you took a picture of a building that you like, you can do the same thing. You can just draw it out with the ink and then play with all the wash of the watercolor. I mean, every skill level I know does this. They have a lot of fun with it and come out with some great results. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Please don't forget to hit that bell notification button because not everybody is seeing my videos lately, and it's, you know, it's really important that you hit that bell notification button to know when it's up, and then you obviously then you can watch it. So take care and have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.